Third-generation naval officer and retired Top Gun pilot John Pico with us tonight. Thanks for being here.
It's great to be here. It's a pleasure.
Of course, the new Top Gun movie getting a lot of attention, rightfully so. It was so incredibly well done, and I'm sure it is inspiring a new generation of pilots. What influenced your decision to fly?
So I have seen the new movie, of course, 3 times actually. But when the first one came out, I wasn't even tracking that. That was 1986. I was 16 years old. Kind of funny. I had a date with a gal from a nearby school who was known to be a little aggressive. So a friend of mine said, "Hey, in preparation, you may want to rent this movie called Top Gun that's out. Fast forward to the blue scene, and that'll clarify perhaps a game plan." So I biked to Blockbuster, put it in the player there, and didn't know where the blue scene was. So I watched the whole thing that weekend. Watched it about 8 times, and I was hooked. The date went horribly, but destiny was chosen at that point. What I saw there, I mean, I didn't know what was real and what wasn't, but I just wanted a part of that action. It looked intense, challenging, amazing. They were passionate about it, serving the country. It just was everything wrapped up into one at that young age.
So did the movie really capture what it's like in the cockpit of a fighter jet? What is it like to train and fly in those planes?
And the second movie, the most recent, really did an amazing job of capturing how things work in the cockpit, all the G-forces. All the actors that were in the back seat, they were feeling the real effects, and it was authentic flying, no CGI. It was the real deal. So just an awesome example of what we do out there. I mean, it's really hard to explain the intensity of those G-forces. I mean, as an example, if your arm is 20 pounds and you're flying a mission that requires 8 Gs in a dogfight, your arm feels like 160 pounds while you're moving it around the cockpit. And picture that as your head, your neck, your shoulders, and you're twisting around trying to find someone, find a target. It definitely helps to have those muscles in shape, ready to go.
So obviously we're a weather network. How does weather impact planes like these? I'm sure the maneuvers are incredible, even in perfect conditions, and we both know that doesn't happen often.
The weather's huge. We go through meteorology training right when we start in Pensacola. Our meteorologists are on the aircraft carrier with us. They're involved in the pre-flight planning. They know the mission. They know what weather we need. And so they're involved in the process the whole way. We get a weather briefing right before we get ready to brief the mission. And right before we take off from the carrier, we get one more update from our meteorologist. So super, super important.
What are some of the biggest weather elements and the factors that you pay attention to?
It's amazing what we experience here on land throughout the country and the world, frankly, it is something very similar to what you experience on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier. It has been, and I'm talking a nuclear powered aircraft carrier. It's been snowing so much so where they had to try and find some buckets and shovels to try and shovel that off the side. Sandstorms that will fill up every crack and crevice within minutes. Blazing heat, 140 degrees constantly out there. The winds are very challenging. The sea state is super something that's very challenging for us if it gets nasty. Weather's critical. Thunderstorms, icing, everything we need to keep in mind.
Wow. So what do you think it is about this job that fascinates so many of us in the public?
I think it's the fact that we're getting a chance. The public's getting a chance to peek behind the curtain with this second movie. A little bit on the first one, but definitely on the second one. I think, the country and the world loves jobs that are exciting and dangerous. And this certainly is that. Considered by many the most dangerous job in the world when you're on an aircraft carrier with engines running and airplanes turning. And there's just a lot of activity going on. And so you get a chance to peek inside the cockpit, peek inside the training, and frankly, the mission itself is something I think people can rally behind. That's really what it is. We're working so hard to do is to ultimately protect our country and our friends, and it takes a heck of a lot of work to get to that level.
I mentioned you're retired from at least flying the F-18s, was it? Or is it F-18s?
The F-18s, yep.
And so, are you still able to fly smaller aircraft now just for fun, or are you pretty much just grounded now?
Not officially grounded. I have flown the Beechcraft twin engine Beechcraft 200. That was a lot of fun. A propeller plane, something that was different than flying jets my whole career. But now I'm supposed to spending most of the time on the ground with friends and family, kind of letting the back heal a little bit. But I certainly miss it. So once I left the Navy, I had other passions actually, finance, accounting. I was an accounting major. And so the focus that I had on the mission and flying and everything that took, I now get to focus that on my clients. So I work for Edward Jones as a financial planner, and I run the southernmost Edward Jones branch in the U.S. down here in Key West, Florida, which is super exciting, and have clients in 15 different states. So it's just been a wonderful transition and super excited.
What advice do you have for aspiring pilots? What are the most important skills to have?
That's a great question, Adam. We get that a lot throughout our career. I've spoken to many classes, young kids, elementary school. What does it take? And I used to say, hard work, disciplined, good attitude, and that's all true. But I recently read a book this summer, and it's called Grit by Angela Duckworth. And she did an amazing job of just refining what it truly does take to get to an elite level. And it's a two-part combination. It is passion and perseverance. And she nailed it, because that really sums it all up. If you are passionate about what you're doing and you will attack it with relentless perseverance, there's not much that can stop you. And that's really what it takes for this profession.
We've got a few seconds left. What's the biggest thing you miss?
I think I miss the sailors that I worked with. It was great working with those guys and gals. I mean, they're the ones that are getting our airplanes up and running. They're the ones that are prepping everything for the mission. They're the ones putting the weapons on. They're the ones filling it up with gas. My fellow pilots, just the whole lifestyle. Talk about a teamwork, camaraderie. That's it.
I believe it. Even from flying single engine planes, it takes a lot of people to make sure you safely get up and safely get back. John Pico, thank you so much. Former Top Gun pilot. This was such a wonderful conversation. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Adam, for having me. Appreciate it.
Hey, AccuWeather viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here. And you can also click on any of the videos here to stay up to date on the latest weather news. Thanks for watching.